D-Trav. This is episode 6 from season 2. And let's get it popping, man.
Knicks, we back, spotting up for the 3, or quick pass behind your back. Block your man out the paint when you crash the boards. 5 seconds on the clock, so it's time to score. You better step up your game. There's no bigger place than the Garden. You officially on the biggest stage. Hit him with the cross or the fade away. Let him know it's not a game that you came to play. It's time to rep for the city. New York is the Mecca. Anybody come in our house, you gotta check them. Can't forget legends like Walt or King. PE in the paint or starts from 3. Melo had the Garden rocking when he joined the team. The future looking right for our next regime. With our 2 cornerstones, RJ and Mitch, watching Knicks at night. New York Knicks. I keep hearing New York that and New York this. Nobody run New York.
So let's check it, y'all. We up to the point right now in the season with the Knicks. We are at the 22 game mark. So the Knicks are now 9-13. I know I said I wasn't going to evaluate the Knicks really until 25 games, but I think right now at 22 games is enough to decide what type of team I think the Knicks have. After watching the games, 22 games, I honestly feel like I predicted in the beginning of the season that the Knicks would be a 500 team. And I think the Knicks are a decent team. I don't think they're basically like a mediocre team. I don't think they are a really good team, and I don't think they're a really bad team. They're somewhere hovering around in the middle. Right now, I mean, they're under 500. Like I said, they're 9-13. There's sometimes, and you can't really predict what the Knicks are gonna do. There's teams, they will beat elite teams if they're on their A game, and they're on the top of their defense and they defend it well. And there's some nights where the Knicks might lose to a team that you think, they're supposed to beat, like one of the worst teams in the NBA. They'll end up losing to them. So right now the Knicks are very inconsistent when it comes to getting W's. So don't make any bets on the Knicks because you never know what they're going to do. You mess around and lose your money. But anyway, last game. Let's talk about the last game. Last game they played was against the Chicago Bulls, a team, that's basically right now they're above the Knicks because they're 8-11. But I think going into the game, the Knicks had a better record than the Chicago Bulls. So, you was expecting the Knicks to defeat the Bulls, but they end up losing that game due to the fact that in the first half, the Knicks let Larry Marketing go off. He had about 30 points in the first half. And then in the second half, the Knicks, they climb up. It was an uphill battle. They came back. I think they actually regained the lead in the game. But when it came down to crunch time, the Bulls had Zach Lavine. He had a couple clutch shots. And that was all she wrote. Speaking of Zach Lavine, that's one thing I wanted to talk about the Knicks record and the type of team that the Knicks have. I think the Knicks need one more player on their team, like a Zach Lavine, that can help them get over the hump, where they will actually be like one of the elite teams in the East. Right now, our go-to guys are Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, and then you got Emmanuel quickly coming off the bench. That is the most consistency that the Knicks have on their team right now is Randle, RJ Barrett, and your boy Emmanuel quickly, who has become one of the fans' favorites. But other than those 3, the rest of the team is very inconsistent, especially Austin Rivers, Elfrid Payton. Everybody's calling for his head. They want him to be benched. Mitchell Robinson, Alec Burks. They're all very inconsistent right now. But let's take a look at the Eastern Conference. And I just want to say that as far as you look at the standings in the Eastern Conference, you have the Philadelphia 76ers, Milwaukee Bucks, the Brooklyn Nets, Boston Celtics, and the Indiana Pacers. So those are the top 5 teams in the East right now. Besides those 5 teams, I don't think that any of the other teams are better than the Knicks, to be honest with you. But we are missing one key factor. Like I said, we need one more shooter or scorer on our team that could really help us out to get us to the level of those top 5 teams. Right now you have the Hawks, the Cavaliers, the Hornets, the Bulls, the Raptors, the Magic, the Pistons, the Wizards. I actually think the Knicks are better than all those teams that I just named. Right now, the Heat is in the 13th position. They are 7-13. I don't know what's going on with the Heat, but I do feel like eventually the Heat is going to get it together and they're going to start getting some W's. I don't think they're going to stay in that 13th spot. They got off to a slow start, and I think, they got Pat Riley running the team, Eric Spoelstra's coaching, and they still got Jimmy Butler and a good defensive team, and a whole bunch of good young players, and Bam on their team. So I don't expect them to be. I expect them to be in the playoff hunt eventually. I think the Cavaliers would drop out of there, the Hawks and the Hornets. Hopefully the Knicks could get in there. Yeah. So speaking of the three Knicks players, the Knicks big three, the so-called Knicks big three, which is quickly R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle, on the game on Sunday, they got a lot of respect from the Clippers. Once again, they played the Clippers. They played really well against the Clippers. They ended up losing. Like, I think the last 3 to 4 minutes of the game, the Clippers started shooting. The Clippers were really shooting lights out the whole game, but the last 3 minutes of the game, they really separated them from the Knicks. And they beat the Knicks. But Kawhi Leonard was out there giving props to, Quickly and R.J. Barrett, and so was Paul George, saying that, the two players that we have, Quickly being the first-year player and R.J. Barrett being the second-year player, have a bright future with the Knicks. So a lot of people in the Knicks community is excited about, superstars giving respect to our, young players that we have on our team. With that being said, and I know that we need help right now to get over the hump, which is the 500 hump that I hope the Knicks get over. I think I lower my stance on certain players on the Knicks right now. I believe Julius Randle should stay. I believe R.J. Barrett and Quickly. But as far as that goes, and Obi Toppin, of course. Obi Toppin we just drafted this year with the 8th pick. But other than those 4, I believe we should be open to trading any player right now in order to make the Knicks better. Before I used to say I don't want to trade Mitchell Robinson, but now I'm a little bit more open. If we could get an elite scorer in here, I'm learning that Mitchell Robinson, yes, he is a good player, but he's very limited. I've been waiting for him to, show more on offense. He's a good defensive player, but he has yet to take a jump shot for the whole entire year. He has no post moves, and he's just basically a pick and roll lob player. And I feel we think he's a good player, but I think we could afford to lose him now and replace him with another center, maybe in this upcoming draft, that could replace him. So we could, because we actually have 2 picks. We have our own pick and we have the Dallas pick. And right now that Dallas pick is looking really good. Let's look at the standings real quick. In the standings, the Dallas are actually the 3rd worst team in the West with a record of 8-13. They are a 3,800 team. Not looking too good. They actually have a worse record than the Knicks. So who knows, man? Maybe those 2 picks from the Knicks and the Dallas this year will be 2 top 10 picks, and that'll be a good look for the New York Knicks. Yeah, but I'm looking at trying to see if we could get Zach Lavine on the Knicks. Also, I heard that the Knicks are taking a look at Derrick Rose, J.J. Redick, and Lonzo Ball. It just came out today that Bradley Beal said he doesn't want to be traded from the Wizards. So don't expect that to happen anytime soon, because he wants to work it out with Russell Westbrook and the Wizards and see if they could win and build a winning culture around their team. Yeah, man. So what else we could talk about? Oh, this is the one thing I want to talk about. Let's talk about the Knicks community, because now I'm in a couple of these Knicks chats. I get to see what you guys are talking about in some of these Facebook chats and Instagram chats. There's 2 subjects that I really want to talk about. The 2 subjects are Obi Toppin and Julius Randle. All right, let's start off with the rookie Obi Toppin. I think some of you guys are really bugging out. Like, come on. The kid just got here. He's a rookie. There really wasn't that much of a preseason or a summer league for Obi Toppin to play in, okay? I want you guys to understand that. And some of these these chat rooms, you guys are bashing Obi Toppin, saying, "Oh, we shouldn't have picked Obi Toppin with the 8th pick. We should have picked Burton, whatever his name is." And there's other ways we should have went. And Obi Toppin is a bust. After 22 games, you're saying Obi Toppin is a bust. I think you guys are really, really, really bugging right now. The kid, because of Julius Randle emerges as a star player and a potential all-star player, Obi Toppin only plays about 8 to 10 minutes a game. That's not enough for him to get his feet wet. That's not enough for him to get in the rhythm. That's not enough for him to show the skills that he got. Like, he's just a rookie. Give it some time. Be patient with him. Every rookie's not going to jump out straight as soon as they get in the NBA and be a Luka Doncic. Every rookie's not going to do what Emmanuel Quickly's doing. Let's just be happy that we have one rookie that's doing that. Like, if we was to get lucky enough to have 2 rookies that are just coming off the bat, dominating in their rookie year, that would be great. But let's be happy. We have Emmanuel Quickly that's doing his thing now. He is making a strong case of why he should start because his playing is showing that. He's looking like a vet out there. Very skillful. I like the way he uses the pick and roll. His flow to game is ridiculous. It's sick. Love his flow to game. And I love the way that when he comes off the pick, he seals the defender behind him and he's able to throw lobs, throw up a floater, or kick it out to shooters. Perfect. But Obi Toppin, he is not a bust. Please, you guys really need to cut it out. He's definitely not a bust. Give him some time. All right? That's what I have to say about Obi Toppin. The guy is only playing 8 to 10 minutes a game. We did not expect Julius Randle to be having this great year that he's having. So that's even better for Obi Toppin because there's less pressure on him right now and he can slowly develop. And eventually, maybe he'll get the starter position. Maybe he won't. But Julius Randle is a player that we should keep. I just wanted to speak about that because the next thing we have is people saying that we should trade Julius Randle. What you don't understand, guys, is that we're starting to develop a winning culture. Players are starting to give our team respect in the NBA. That's all we wanted from the get-go. We don't want to be the laughingstock of the NBA anymore. Right now, Julius Randle is keeping us into every game that we're playing. The reason why we have a 9-13 record, you have to give kudos off to Tom Thibodeau and the coaching staff, but also Julius Randle. Without Julius Randle in the starting lineup, he's averaging like 22 points, 11 rebounds, and about 6 assists a game. He's creating for other players so they could score also. So you take Julius Randle off the New York Knicks right now, and I guarantee you the New York Knicks will be no different than the Detroit Pistons or the Washington Wizards. That's 4-12. The Pistons are 5-15. Come on, let's make sense. I know some of you guys are saying, he's blocking Obi Toppin's blessings and Obi Toppin needs to get a lot of burn. We draft him 8 for what? Not to put him on the bench. But not every time you draft somebody high means they're going to automatically get playing time. We're deep at that position right now. When Paul George got drafted, when Danny Granger was still in front of him, when Kobe Bryant got drafted, Eddie Jones was still in front of him. You got to give it some time, man. Give it some time. We do not need to trade Julius Randle. We want to build a winning culture with the Knicks. I told you guys, Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, and Emmanuel Quickly are right now the scoring options for the Knicks. So that it needs to stay that way. What we need to focus on right now is to get Julius Randle some help. We build around that. Those are key pieces that we have right there. Those 3 key pieces with Obi Toppin, number 4, are the key pieces that we have right now, and we should build on that. What you do is you don't develop a guy until an all-star, and then you trade him away for another player that could potentially make your team worse than what it is right now. Because no player right now that we trade Julius Randle, even if we used to trade Julius Randle for Zach Lavine is not leading the Bulls to doing any better than the Knicks. So we're going to just trade our star player for their star player to be in the same circumstance? No, that's not how you build a winning culture. That's not how you build winning teams. How you build winning teams is by adding to what you have that you think is good. You see who's playing well under Coach Tom Thibodeau, who's not. You move the pieces out that don't fit your system, and you move pieces in that help your system and can contribute to what you already built. So right now we're seeing that Julius Randle is a key piece, RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly. If we have to give away, let's say, the Dallas pick this year, Kevin Knox, that's another thing I heard. Kevin Knox may be on the trading block. I'm okay with that also. But let's say you have to give away Kevin Knox, Dennis Smith Jr., Frank, Mitchell Robinson, the Dallas draft pick, and maybe some second rounders in order to get Zach Lavine. Then you make that move because now you have a legit second scorer, a legit second all-star on the team to pair up with Julius Randle. And then you could have RJ Barrett as your third option, and Emmanuel quickly could play the six-man role. Now you have Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, Zach Lavine, Emmanuel quickly. You have 4 key pieces that you could start building around, and the Knicks could actually start being in the top 4 or 5 teams in the Eastern Conference. As well, you will also have your draft pick from this year. That's how you build a team. Not by sending Julius Randle off and replacing him with somebody who's basically going to put up the same numbers and keep the Knicks at a standstill. That's not how you build a team. So that's it for now, guys. I just wanted to speak on those 2 subjects. Thank you for giving me your time. Once again, this is KnicksatniteTV. You guys subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Like and follow me on Instagram. You can check me out on Facebook. Hit that notification bell for updates. Also, I think it's about time that we bring another guest on the show. So let me know who y'all want to see. I know a lot of people in the New York City basketball community, a lot of guys that got big names. So we're going to try to bring a guest on this weekend and talk some Knicks basketball. Thank you, fellas, man.